Rampage Poker is known to be the biggest punter in the game.
I don't know all time. That's hilarious.
But this time, he may actually find a way to get his money in good.
I call blind. Right?
Mariano with top pair, Rampage bottom 2 pair. Looks like we might see Rampage and Mariano square off yet again here. And Rampage clicks it back with the bottom 2. And Mariano jams all in.
How good is your blind hand?
Wow.
Can you straddle from the blinds?
Yeah.
You can?
We should change the rule.
Everything but the button.
Peter, there's no choice.
Oh, okay.
Holy crap. Is that a...
400. 400.
Oh, what? Hang on. Can I straddle?
No, they're very active.
Oh my
No,
god, that was a nasty. That was just not right.
I don't know. I don't like
Sus.
it. Like, way to fold fast. It's like you know, a battle for all time.
That's hilarious.
No, seriously. I was thinking about it.
That was a veteran.
Seriously. I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
All right, hang on. Watch this. I'm gonna counteract the strategy. I call blind. Right?
All right. I don't know if that counteracts.
I don't know what that does.
But maybe. Now he's gonna try to steal and you'll have ace.
He's gonna check. I can feel it.
4 ways.
In today's video, we are playing 25-50 with a $200 straddle under the gun from Song, and then a $400 restraddle from Rampage Poker under the gun +1. Also in this game, if you win 3 pots in a row, you get $1,000 from each player. And Rampage has been blasting away and he's won the last 2 pots, so he really wants to win this one. It folds around to Mariano in the cutoff, playing effectively $94,000 deep. Very deep stacked. He has the King-Jack offsuit. This is a spot where you would normally raise, and raising very likely could be best, but he opts to limp. A good reason to limp in this scenario is that he wants to be able to call a raise from Rampage. This is a spot where if Mariano raises, so let's say 1,400, and then Rampage re-raises to 10,000, knowing that he's going to collect an extra 6,000 or 7,000 from everybody at the table if he wins the pot, Mariano's in a pretty nasty spot with the King-Jack. But if he limps and then Rampage raises to any reasonable amount, he can then call, go to the flop, and take it from there. So Mariano limps the cutoff with the King-Jack. Dylan decides to defend a little bit with a Jack-4 offsuit. This is probably a little bit too loose even with this bounty complication, but you know, it could be fine. Song in the straddle calls with the 5-3, and Rampage checks the 10-7. He takes the cautious route. Let's head to the flop.
My hand had no chance of winning anyway.
King 10-7, rainbow flop.
There's no point to do it.
Looks like we might see Rampage and Mariano square off yet again here. Mariano with top pair, Rampage bottom 2 pair.
The flop comes King 10-7. This is a situation where normally with the 10-7 you probably want to check because one of the 2 limpers is going to have something to bet this flop, and then you can put in a very nice check raise. But again, because Rampage gets paid an extra 6,000 or 7,000 bucks whenever he wins the pot, he opts to go ahead and lead. And he leads huge, 2 times the size of the pot, $3,000. This is a very abnormal play. This is not something I would have expected to see, but Rampage goes for it. If you are going to use these big bet sizes against good, strong players, you definitely want to make sure you're somewhat balanced. And I would presume Rampage is going to do this with very good made hands that are still vulnerable to being outdrawn, like King-Queen, King-Jack, 10-7, stuff like that. And then also with some high equity draws that can bet and then call a raise, mainly Queen-Jack, maybe 9-8. So I think this 10-7 is a pretty nice hand to do this with. Mariano now has to figure out what to do with the King-Jack in position.
Of course, Rampage bets 3K into 1,500, instantly putting Mariano in a interesting spot here with top pair Jack kicker and a 4-way pot here.
Raise 6,000.
He's going to min raise to 6K. Going to put the pressure back on Rampage here now. Really interesting dynamic, betting 2x the pot and getting min raised here.
Mariano decides to bring in the min raise. That's an interesting play. This is a weird spot because the stacks are still very, very deep. And as stacks get deeper and deeper, that extra $8,000 or $7,000, whatever is incentive for Rampage starts to become less and less significant. That said, it does still result in Rampage's ranges perhaps being wider than normal. And for that reason, King Jack is probably way better in this spot than it may naturally appear. Also, perhaps Mariano thinks Rampage's 2x pot betting range in this spot is very weak. If he thinks it's something like gut shots, then, putting in a small raise is probably fine. That said, if he is leading with a lot of gut shots and draws and marginal made hands like Jack 10 or 10-9 or King 3, in that case, you probably want to raise a little bit bigger because when you put in the min raise, Rampage is actually getting really decent odds to call and try to spike whatever few outs he has, recognizing he probably has pretty good implied odds, right? Like imagine in this spot, Rampage has Queen 9. Do you really want to min raise and let him draw to the Jack, and then when he gets the Jack, you lose all your money? Or imagine he has 9-8, right? Then any Jack or 6 is good. Do you really want to give him good odds? I think I would have gone bigger in Mariano's shoes. That said, facing the 2x pot bet, I think I would just have played kind of defensively and just called. Because maybe Rampage is just doing this with a lot of good hands, and it's tough to know what to do from that spot. Typically, with a hand that's either way ahead or way behind, you usually want to just call, especially when you're in position. And I realize the King Jack may be a little bit better than way ahead or way behind only because he could be beating stuff like King 3. But I think that this is a spot where I probably would have called and forced Rampage to stay in the pot and not bloated the pot where you may get blown off it. Let's see how Rampage responds to the min raise.
Swirly hand here developing between Rampage and Mariano.
Make it 15 more.
And Rampage clicks it back at the bottom 2. 2 gunslingers going at it here.
Rampage then re-raises back kind of small. Kind of similar to how I would have raised a little bit bigger in Mariano's shoes. I think I would have also raised a little bit bigger in Rampage's shoes because, again, Rampage is now representing a very polarized range when he 2x pots the flop, right? So if he's very polarized, which he is in the spot, 2 pairs, a really, really good hand, I think you just want to re-raise a little bit bigger and really apply pressure to lots of Mariano's strong but marginal made hands, exactly like what he has, like King Jack or any other king. And if Mariano somehow has a draw, you want to kill his implied odds, right? Because whenever you re-raise to 15,000 only, 9,000 more, you're now giving Mariano, again, good odds to call in position and see what develops. So I probably would have gone more like 20K and recognize I'm probably just going to end up getting it in if Mariano wants to gamble. Sometimes you are going to be drawing dead. You have to be careful with a hand like bottom 2 pair because if a lot of money goes in the pot, you could be drawing thin or dead. But given these players are both battling, given the bounty dynamics, 10-7 is certainly good enough to just make the pot big and get the money in. Rampage goes 15K. I like this. I would have gone a little bit bigger, but I like it. Let's see how Mariano responds.
9K back for Mariano to call.
All in.
All in. And Mariano jams. All in.
How good is your blind hand?
Wow.
What are you doing?
Absolutely insane hand here. Rampage a 2-1 favorite if he can click call.
I mean, like, if I lose, then I have no more money.
Which would be the biggest pot of the night in dollar amounts by a mile here.
How good can this blind hand possibly be? It's kind of insane.
I mean, it's a blind
How
hand.
full of do you think I am?
It could be anything.
This is kind of insane. I mean, it's a really good shot because now I'm like in hell. I'm straight up in hell. I don't even know how much I have. This is
massive pot between the 2 players stuck the most in the game tonight.
This actually doesn't matter at all.
Mariano sticks with his read that Rampage has a whole lot of nothing, or maybe a weaker made hand, and he rips it in. Seems optimistic to me because Rampage will sporadically have some strong hands. Now, maybe Mariano's thinking in this spot that Rampage can't have all that many strong hands because he probably presumes Rampage would always or almost always raise pre-flop with kings, 10s, and 7s. Maybe even king 10. And notice, Mariano has a king in his hand, which blocks king 10 and king 7. So the only real made hand Mariano has to worry about is the 10-7. I get that. I totally understand that. I'm not sure Rampage always raises pre-flop with kings, 10s, and 7s. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. King 10, maybe he doesn't. The question becomes, would Rampage actually play a draw this way? And I don't really like re-raising small with a draw in his shoes, because when he re-raises small, he's now kind of forcing Mariano to stick in the pot quite often, and he risks getting blown off his equity. Like, imagine Rampage did have the queen jack. Would he bet the flop 2x pot, get raised, and then re-raise, recognizing he could face an all-in, and then have to fold? You really don't want to go around folding a hand that has 40-ish% equity, but that is what he would have to do in this spot. So for that reason, I think I would start to remove the high equity draws like queen jack and 9-8 from Rampage's range. And I would think he has more draws like gut shots, like, well, any gut shot. Name any of them. All of them will do. Jack 8, for example. So if he has a lot of gut shots, at this point, I think you really want to keep him in the pot. I think the best line in this spot for Mariano is to just call the re-raise and then just try to not fold. You're still probably going to get stacked, but I would try to not fold. That said, Mariano puts it in. Maybe he thinks Rampage will call off with a whole lot of weaker kings. I don't think he's going to re-raise a whole lot of weaker kings, but if he does think that's happening, where he's re-raising a whole lot of weaker kings, then I think shoving is kind of nice. Or if he thinks Rampage is re-raising with a whole lot of high equity draws, like the open-ended straight draws, then shoving all in is kind of nice too. But if Rampage is very polarized to better made hands and junky draws, you definitely want to call. Mariano goes all in though. Let's see if Rampage finds the nitty fold. Probably not.
I think they're stuck a collective couple 100,000 so far between them.
I'd be like, do you just get to have it? I don't know how full of shit you think I am. This is the problem. But I am full of shit enough to maybe fold this here. There's 1,600 in the middle, and now we're gonna play a $200,000 pot. It's like kind of insane. If I'm just like 3 betting here, why am I folding everything? Just folding everything. It's like really possible to.
This pot will approach 200K if he calls here.
All right. We are still friends if you beat me.
And he calls.
I have king jack.
I have 10-7.
Okay.
And Rampage is going to be a 2-to-1 favorite here
Whatever
for
you
almost
want, Mariano.
$200,000.
Okay. How big's the pot, Magic?
Biggest pot of the night, 191,000.
Okay, twice it is.
All right, 2 times. Friendly.
We're going to go twice here.
You have 10-7?
Yeah.
Let's go, 2 times. All right, let me know when you're ready.
Rampage, of course, calls it off. They decide to run it twice. Let's see if Rampage can finally get unstuck.
I don't think I'm allowed to fold this hand.
This is a highlight of the...
I mean, dude.
Let's go twice.
We're going to go twice here. Offsuit 4 on the first turn. And Mariano finds a jack on the end for a better 2 pair. King on the second turn. What a run out for Mariano.
I have no more money.
191K his way. Epic send there for Mariano. 2-to-1 dog and wins both. I imagine Mariano's offering to
That's poker.
No.
give him some proceeds if he wants to keep playing. I imagine is what they're talking about. That was all the Rampage monies he said.
That's sick.
As far as I know, Rampage and Mariano are friends, and what I want to know is, how do you change your strategy when you're playing against friends? People who you like, people who, you know, you may battle with, but you like. Do you try to avoid playing big pots with them? Do you try to play even harder to crush them? Or do you just play as if they are any other player? Take a second, think about it. Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll let you know my thoughts before we get out of here. While you're down there, click the like and subscribe button for me, please.
That's sick. That's like less than 5%.
And of course, like
Unbelievable hand.
Less than 5.
It's
Yeah,
just
less than
such
5.
like a variance game.
4.5, something like that.
Wow.
Crazy.
How do you follow that up?
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Right?
Unbelievable.
Like 6 or 7%.
Maybe?
Always
Because he has some other ways to counter.
Rampage a 2-1 favorite and loses both.
4-4.
4-4. 4-4. Oh, yeah. Any pair, yes. That's it.
I think the chat is broken. Oh my gosh, what a hand. What a night of poker.
It's around 5 to 6.
That's poker.
This game's so good, I don't even want to go to use the restroom. I've been holding in a restroom break for like an hour. That's how you know you're in a good game. Even as a commentator, you do not want to leave.
Mariano
1
really
second.
is the king of
Playing against a friend is always interesting because some people will make a point to play honestly, straight up, or, you know, by the book against their friends and not do anything overly aggressive. Whereas other players will go way out of line and try to absolutely crush their friends, thinking, oh, I want to battle with them. I want to show them that I'm better than them. They have this competitive spirit. And it's up to you to figure out what your particular opponent is going to do, call it, incorrectly, away from the game theory optimal strategy, right? If your opponent is going to be way more face up, perhaps their ranges don't contain as many bluffs as they should, which means against those players, you should overfold. Against players who are going to be trying to show you who the boss is, well, then obviously don't go around folding decent made hands because they're going to be bluffing far too often. In general, though, I strongly recommend you simply play good, strong game theory optimal poker against everyone until you know they do something wrong. Maybe you think your opponent will play straight up against you and they think you're going to play straight up against them. Overly straightforward with fewer bluffs than you should. Well, against that player, even if they're for your friend, you should bluff their socks off. Alternatively, if your opponent thinks that you're going to be drastically overbluffing because they like to drastically overbluff, well, against them, tighten up, play good cards, and value bet wide. Always make a point to maximally exploit whatever your opponents are doing at the table, and recognize at the poker table, even if someone is your best friend, they're still your opponent. I'll talk to you next time.